Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm joined by Julio Gonzalez, founder of Engineered Tax Services and the newly appointed president of RAV Español, the Spanish language sister channel to Real America's Voice. Julio, first of all, congratulations on your appointment. This channel is still fairly new, but has made some tremendous strides at a rapid pace. Tell me about your vision for the network.
Yeah, the vision is simply to give the Hispanic community in our country and many countries across the globe access to a conservative message. I think it's so vital. I mean, they've really never had that media out there in our country. So to give them conservative messaging that they've so desperately needed and to understand the political aspects from another angle, I think is vital.
Yeah, it is needed, and I think this comes personally from you deep down because you have a big heart for the Hispanic community, being Hispanic yourself from Cuban descent. Hispanics tend to be very traditional, close-knit, and family-oriented. I know this from having a Hispanic spouse. Talk about how those values align with what RAV Español contains in its content.
I know, it's all about religion, family, and freedom. And that's RAV, right? I mean, that's a perfect alignment. So you can see how this has taken off already. We're seeing so many views on RAV Español, and we're seeing so many countries and so many country leaders asking us to have channels and networks in their country. The Oval Office is inviting us in because they want a Hispanic media source to have that outreach. Yeah. So thankfully, we're bringing that to the White House, we're bringing it to Congress, we're bringing it to our country. And I think that's big.
It seems like faith, family, and freedom, they resonate with Hispanic communities and families, which I think is important. So many are Catholic as well, which obviously strikes the faith component. And you know, Julio, because America is so success-driven, we're very, very success-driven, there's an emotional cost sometimes to that success. Whoever the breadwinner in the family may be, they may lose time with their family to provide. What are some of the silent struggles that we see in Hispanic families, would you say?
I think the biggest struggle has been, you know, the Democrats. So, I mean, they basically have put into our communities the drugs, right? Whether it was Biden, whether it was Jimmy Carter, and allowed them to come in and take over the business of our communities and force the drugs into our communities that then became the employers and forced out every other labor. And ultimately, it puts us into a bind where now everyone's working for the drugs and selling the drugs and the gangs, right? But they let in, Jimmy Carter let them in from Cuba and Central and South America, and you saw what Biden did, right? So they come into our communities where they can get quick access, quick revenue, and ultimately, you know, that puts everyone in our communities into jail, and then the families get dependent on welfare because everyone's going to jail for, you know, crimes, and that's what I saw with Jimmy Carter. That's what we were seeing again with, you know, Biden, and so it's horrible. That's their playbook, though, right? I mean, let the illegals in, let them sell drugs, and let our communities suffer, although they're getting those votes, right? Because all of a sudden now, even with my family, they become dependent on welfare, on food stamps, on fake cheese on Friday, fake powdered milk. We used to get the Tang, and you remember Tang?
Yeah, of course.
Gross stuff. And so I'm just telling you that that's the playbook for the Hispanic community. And how do they know any better, right? They don't know that that's coming from a government. But if you have bad communities, you have bad government. And that's what happens to the Hispanic communities. That's where we get ravished through bad policy, through bad democratic leaders. And ultimately, we've got to make that education. Like, I don't think they understand that. I don't think every community understands why half the people are in prison. Like, we know that if you look at whites and Hispanics, right, big discrepancy on who's going to jail, right? But that's because Biden and Carter were allowing those drug lords to come into our communities and basically set it up for failure for those people. But, you know, what does that matter if people are failing and they're buying their votes through green food stamps and things of this nature?
Well, all the more reason to break that cycle of dependency, right? And I think that's where RAV Español comes in with your leadership, being able to communicate the message that you're talking about to Hispanic families and people everywhere. So thank you for your leadership and your vision, and we really look forward to seeing where RAV Español is going to go, Julio.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Where can people find information about you and what you're doing?
Look, and one thing we want to do is create tax and grant awareness for our Hispanic communities. So text grants to 26786. And we'll make sure that, like you said, there's a lot of hardworking Hispanic families, right? And they need access to the grants just like Elon Musk gets access to the grants.
Of course.
Ultimately, those can help their jobs. Those can offset some of the, the hiccups they've had with the drugs in the communities and help them start businesses.
Thank you so much, Julio. And we'll be back with American Sunrise in 2 short minutes. Don't go away.